Hi guys, Jess Speciale, and you're watching Mum on Purpose. So today I have a book review for you guys. The book I'm reviewing is Intuitive Eating by Elyse Resch and Evelyn Tribole. And the reason I decided to review this book and really have a look into it, I saw bits of it coming up on Instagram, quotes and the principles and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, okay, what's this about? I wanted to see what it was about because I consider myself quite an intuitive person. I thought, well, maybe I can apply some of this stuff into my life. And it goes over really the 10 basic principles of intuitive eating, which it talks about. The first principle was rejecting a diet mentality. Obviously when we're going on a diet, usually it's for a short term. So if we're rejecting the diet mentality, then essentially what we're doing is, we're eliminating short term and we're saying, okay, so long term, this is what we're going to have a plan for long term. We're going to have a better relationship with food rather than have a diet for a certain amount of time. And then what usually happens after a diet, we just completely let loose and go the other way. So really rejecting that mentality is not about a diet. Number 2 principle was honoring your hunger. So again, it's not about starving yourself. It's not about limiting your calories or anything like that. It was really about honoring your hunger and making sure that you ate when you're hungry, because then our urge will come, our primal urge, I guess, to overeat, which is completely normal if we've starved ourselves of calories. And I just love some of the examples that it gives. Like if you're really craving peanut butter with bread or something, then you need to go back and think, okay, have I had my adequate amount of calories today? Have I eaten appropriately? Have I skipped meals? Because that's usually where that craving is coming from. And it also has a lot of, activities and self-reflection in this book. So if you're the type of person that you don't like books that get you to do all that self-evaluation and stuff like that, then this probably isn't the book for you. I decided to listen to it on my Audible app. It was narrated by the authors and they kind of put you through a guided meditation, I guess, so that you could really start working on yourself and healing your relationship with food. The which leads to number 3 principle of intuitive eating, which was making peace with food. So that kind of all came in about the idea of starting to heal your relationship with it. Number 4 principle was challenging the food police. And what we mean by the food police is it's that voice inside your head that's screaming, no, that's a bad food. You can't do that. Making foods forbidden, because what usually happens when we then go to eat foods that are forbidden is, then we overindulge or we go crazy or we even end up binging, because if we give in to that bad food, well, we might as well go crazy. And it's just, again, about really healing that relationship that we have with food. And number 5 principle for intuitive eating was respecting your fullness. So really understanding when you feel full. And I guess this kind of led me into mindful eating and understand eating slower. As a mum, it's nuts. I just eat whenever I can, and usually it's just like off kids' plates and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was really about, okay, taking the time myself to sit down and have food and listen to my body. Am I full? What's going on here? Am I thirsty? Start asking those kinds of questions. Number 6 principle of intuitive eating was discovering the satisfaction factor. So I guess I kind of quoted like the Japanese, I guess, in the fact of how they eat their food and the fact that they kind of savor their food and understand that the whole eating process should be satisfying. You should be able to eat the foods that you want and not go excessively and not, go overdo it. The fact of just sitting down, being able to eat what you want, but not having to overdo it. Maybe you can just have a small piece of chocolate, but you sit down and you really enjoy and get the most from it, because usually, you have a piece of chocolate, you get that, it's usually that first bite that gives you the most intense pleasure. Then as you go on, if you have more and more of that chocolate, it loses the actual satisfaction and that pleasure. So you're still eating this chocolate, but all of the satisfaction and pleasure came from that first bite or that first piece. So understanding you don't need to have a whole block of chocolate, maybe just a little bit to get that same kind of satisfaction from it. Number 7 principle for intuitive eating, is really honor your feelings without using food. This is when it started getting heavy for me, because I've always used food as a tool. I've either used it to numb my feelings or I've abused it to get the body that I've wanted. And I've really restricted myself. I've been up there with the food police, and it's been interesting for me to start this journey now from the process down of, really honoring my feelings. So a lot of the times when I'm craving really sugary foods or chocolates, and I've been eating quite well during the day, the first thing I ask myself now is, okay, where's this coming from? Because, all the times you mindlessly go to the fridge, there's nothing in there for you to eat, but you close it and just open it again, hoping that something appears out of the blue, or the same with the pantry. It's sometimes something's happened, something's gone on, you're stressed, you're procrastinating. Usually there's another feeling around it. And again, there's meditations and activities to help you really heal this process around with food. Number 8 principle, number 8 principle for intuitive eating was really about respecting your body. This again was pretty much from like 7 downwards was just all for me, I felt like, because it's so funny. It's in one example, it spoke about, wearing clothes that are comfortable for your body, wearing clothes that you feel comfortable in, not just because, they look good or they cover up or anything like that. And it's funny because my usual size 8 legs became a size 9/10 this summer, I did not get them out in shorts. And I know that seems ridiculous to some people, but I was uncomfortable all summer. I wore jeans the whole summer because I was so embarrassed. And that was almost like an example that they gave. And, it's really about honoring your body. What would feel more comfortable? Hey, don't be ashamed of what you have. Don't be ashamed of your body. Don't be ashamed, really honor it and find the positive aspects within your body. And then it did an exercise where you could find the positive aspects within each part of your body. And it was really interesting to start to think about parts of your body and giving it gratitude. Like, I've definitely been one for giving gratitude within my life, but giving gratitude to each part of my body, I'd never really done that exercise before. So that was really, really great. Number 9 was all about exercise, exercising to feel the difference, not exercising as a punishment or exercising to get a certain way. So for me, I've always used exercise in conjunction with weight loss, I guess. You kind of think of it as a certain way that you need to do so much exercise, but we know that our results really come from 80% of what we're putting into our body, our nutrition, and then only 20% comes from exercise. So why do we punish ourselves so much with exercising? Why do we, look down and think how many calories have we burnt and push ourselves harder? Exercising is really, our bodies are meant to move. So rather than shaming ourselves in the sedentary life that we have now and pushing ourselves to go to the gym, why don't we just enjoy the movement that our bodies are meant to make? And one of the examples they gave was of being a toddler, imagining yourself as a toddler and thinking about how you used to move, how you used to laugh, the kinds of things you would do as a toddler. Why not incorporate that some of that now? Because some of us may have experienced a term which they called, exercise resistance, where we've associated exercise so much to an unhappy activity or weight loss or something that we just form this resistance to it. Or perhaps you have an injury which has prevented you doing something that you love, so you've just stopped exercising altogether. Number 10 principle for intuitive eating was about honoring your health. So once you go through these processes and then you understand that, you can eat what you want in proportions, understanding your feelings, understanding, your fullness factor and all those kinds of things. It's really about understanding that now we're going to nourish our bodies. We want to give our bodies the best that we possibly can. We want to give it adequate nutrition. So now we're going to start making better choices. And I really feel like they've obviously very much thought out the process in which this book was written, because it just kind of tied everything together. And it's funny, I kind of went through all the stages from beginning to end. So I went from going crazy, eating whatever I wanted at the beginning, when it was like, okay, this is not about the food police. And then I definitely fell back into, getting nutrition, getting the best possible nutrition I can, and focusing on what would give me energy, what would give me health. Because I choose to partner up with Herbalife Nutrition as a health coach. And I really found that once I'd done the full circle on dealing with my feelings, dealing with my problems, dealing with the past issues I've had with food, I previously suffered with bulimia, and really going through all of this stuff and healing my relationship with food, then when I came to the end, I was just so in tune with my nutrition program. that I'm currently using at the moment. And it just, for me, it didn't become about losing weight or looking a certain way. That's definitely why I started, you know, to lose my baby weight. That's why I started my program, but I became a health coach to help others. And now, going through this journey, I continue to use the program because I love the way it nourishes my body. I love the way it makes me feel, and I feel good when I'm taking it. I feel good about everything. I don't feel like it's depriving me of anything. I feel like it's really fueling me up. So if you've got any issues around food, I really suggest that you grab this book. For me, like I said, I've had a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of interesting paradigms about food, and really working through the steps and doing the exercises helped me to grasp and work through each one of them. And I feel like I'm forever changed by reading this book. I feel like my relationship with food is so much better. I don't know what I'm going to do when I go to my next family event, and I'm just picking off everything because I don't care. Not because I'm going to gorge that one day and feel sick, but just because it's what I want to eat or what I want to do, understanding it's for that one day, not forever. Like, it's just completely opened a new world to me. So I really hope that you guys got something out of this review. I hope that you guys grab the book and really get more out of it, because it's more in the explaining that you really get what your the most of it, I guess. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you've read this book or you've done some intuitive eating, leave me a comment below. Let me know how you go, and let's connect. All right, well, I'll speak to you guys next time. Bye.